We're going to talk about slope, and we are going to count rising and running on a graph. However, I'm going to show you a table later, and I think that you're going to like this method a lot. All right, so to take a look at this graph, and we are just going to kind of determine the rise over the run. Choose 2 points on a line and count the number of rise units, which is up and down. And the run units, you always go to the right on this. So to the right-hand side of the graph. The slope is the ratio of the rise to the run. So here, if we are looking at our first line, which is going to be on the left side, I would rise up, and then I would run to meet the other point of the line. So we went 1, 2, 3 places up, and then of course it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places to the right. Remember, it's always to the right. Also, if I was walking on this line, I would be walking uphill, so I know that the slope is positive. And remember, we always use the letter M for slope. So slope is going to equal 3/7. Let's take a look at the other side. So for the other side, remember, you read a line like you read a sentence from left to right. So if I was trying to find the rise for this graph, I would actually be going down 1, 2, 3 places. And then to reach the actual point on the other side, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, if I walked on this line, I would be walking downhill. So I know that the slope is a -3/4. And that's how you tell slope, by looking at a graph. But that's not where the fun is. The fun is finding it between 2 ordered pairs. So let me kind of switch my page here. And let's take a look at this. First of all, here is the formula for slope. And if you want to use that formula, by all means, please feel free to do that. But for me, I always struggled and lost the negative. Like, my answers were always wrong. So I developed my own method for finding slope, and I want to share that with you. I'm going to show you on examples 3 through 5. So 3 says, determine the slope of the line that passes through points 0, -5, which is a y-intercept, by the way, and 0.13. So I have a little setup here. Let me show you what this setup is going to be. This is going to be an XY chart. So I'm going to put my X's on this column, and I'm going to put my Y's on that column, and I'm going to look at the change. So I'm going to go ahead and put the first ordered pair, and then I'm going to put the next ordered pair. And then, if you notice, I have these 2 triangles on this side. Let me show you what these triangles mean. First of all, the best I can, I'm going to use my pencil case. I am going to cover up the X column. Let's just look at the Y column. So the Y column has a -5 and a 3. And then in this little change box right here, we are going to determine what happened. So this is a -5, but then it turned positive to a +3. I know it's going to be a positive movement. I'm going to write a plus sign right here. And then think about a number line. Just a plain number line. Let's kind of analyze what happened here. Here's -5. Let's pretend 0's right there. And then 3, of course, is going to be to the right of 0. So for -5 to go all the way to a +3, well, first of all, we have to go all the way to 0. That's going to be +5 movements. Then we got to go 3 more places to land on that 3. So what's 5 + 3? 8. So how does a -5 get to be a +3? It increases by 8. Now we're going to do the same exact thing for the X column. So let me cover this part up. And let's take a look at what's going on in the X column. This one's a little bit easier to see. First of all, we start with 0, and then we just go up 1 place. It is a positive increase. and it goes up 1. So let me move my pencil box out of the way, and let's talk about what on earth this is. So I drew the shape of these triangles on purpose. These are actually arrows. This is an arrow pointing up. That is an arrow pointing down. The arrow pointing up, it goes on top of the fraction bar. So we're going to put this 8 on top, positive 8. We're going to put this 1 on the bottom. That's slope. That's our fraction. 8 divided by 1. So our slope for this problem, it's really just 8, because you know anything over 1 is just a whole number. So that's the slope. That's what we do. We're going to box that in. Let's do it all over again with the second one. So we're going to use my table method again. Determine the slope of a line that passes through points 2, 3, and 6, -1. Let's draw an XY chart. And let's go ahead and list the first ordered pair and the second ordered pair. And then let's not worry about the X column right now. I'm just going to put a pin right there. Let's just focus on the Y column. So Y column of 3 changed to a -1. How does that happen? Well, it goes down. So this time I know it's going to have a minus sign in there. So for a 3 to turn into a -1, y'all, that 3, let's look at a number line again. Here's 3. There's -1 way over there. And y'all, don't forget zeros somewhere between those two. So how does a 3 go all the way down? Well, it has to climb 3 places just to get to 0. And then it has to go 1 more place to reach -1. So if we go down 3 and then we move 1 more place to reach -1, then 3 goes down by 4 places to land on -1 on a number line. Let's take a look at the Y's. The Y's are going up. So a 2 turns into a 6. How does a 2 turn into a 6? You add 4. All right, so let's take these two numbers, these changes that happened, and let's put them as a fraction. Remember, the Y's go first. That's why I drew an up arrow. That one goes on top of the fraction bar. All right, so to find slope, I'll put it over here because I kind of ran out of room. Slope equals -4 over +4, which came from that. And -4 over +4 is just -1. So slope equals -1. Let's do it one more time. So down here, it says determine the slope of the line that passes through points -2, 5, and 9, -1. So XY chart, plug in your points, -2, +5, 9, -1. And let's take a look at what happened with the changes. So 5 went all the way down to a -1. So that's going to be a decrease of 6. But 2 increased. I'm sorry, not 2, -2. -2 increased all the way to a +9. That is an increase of 7. So for my slope is going to be m equals -6 on top, +7 on the bottom, and that's it. I can't simplify it any farther than that, so just box that in. Just a reminder about your horizontal and your vertical lines. For your vertical lines, you're going to have an undefined slope, which means there is not a slope. It's impossible. And then for your horizontal line, it's just completely flat, so the slope is 0.